they make only 2.5% of the total wines produced by Australia, but 38% of the highest awarded wines, right? So they really produce the spectacular wines, as you're going to hopefully see today. Here's the, and all screw tops, So we didn't even have to get the key out. I'm going to seal these. One other volunteer, please. Now, this is called the Sandalford Protégé, and this is a very interesting wine because it has 5 different white wines. Now, we're looking at Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, which everyone's familiar that Australia produces, but this also has Semillon in it, Chenin Blanc, and a wine called Verdelho. Is everyone familiar with the wine Verdelho?
I've seen the name a lot recently.
Okay, it's kind of becoming the in vogue wine around the world, not produced in many places. The origins of Verdelho go back to Spain and Portugal, and there they call it Verdejo, and so only in Australia they call it Verdelho. But they're only in Australia, there are only 300 acres roughly of Verdelho in the whole country. You're going to get it in basically the Margaret River, a little bit in the Swan Valley, which is near Perth, and the other place is the Hunter Valley, which is near Sydney. So this is a good blend of those 5 wines. As they say, bottoms up, down under. This is a Sandalford Premium Reserve Sauvignon Blanc Semillon. Now this is one of the most famous blends to come out of this area. Marlborough in New Zealand is obviously famous for its Sauvignon Blancs, as Stellenbosch in South Africa is. The Margaret River is famous for Sauvignon Blancs, and I think they're actually as good as Marlborough in New Zealand. The difference is the trademark of the Margaret River is that they actually add Semillon, and most of the top estates down there do 30 to 40%, which I think personally is overkill. Sandalford actually only puts 10% of the Semillon in, which actually just bulks out the Sauvignon Blanc a little. It still keeps the grassiness and the grapefruit flavors that one would associate with Marlborough, and it makes it a really elegant, multi-layered wine, which I think you guys are going to really enjoy. Every one of these wines, the Premium Reserve with the white labels, has scored more than 94 points with the top wine critics in Australia. So of the 4 wines I'm pouring for you tonight from Sandalford Premium Reserve, they have every one of the 4 have scored between 94 and 96 points. So one more bottom. Most important, yes, of course. And so I think you're going to find we actually just placed this at Oriel today. So they love it as much as I love it. And I think this is actually an exceptional one. It's allocated. I could probably sell this wine 10 times over, and in fact the estate, the vineyard, called me up and asked me if I would sell some back to them because they had so much demand for it. And I said, anything is possible at the right price. We are now talking about 2007. Now, this is all stainless steel. Now, there's a difference between this wine that has no oaking and other varietals, because normally if a Chardonnay has no oaking, it's going to be something you can drink fairly young in its vintage. This will actually sell. This will do well. And the only other varietal that I know that will do well with no oaking is a Austrian wine that is called a Grüner Veltliner, and that will go 10-15 years with no oak and do very well. So this is the 2007 Verdejo.
I had no idea how to pronounce it.
Verdelho.
I can say Verdejo.
This is going to be some wonderful flavors in here. Certainly for me, one of my favorite flavors that comes out of this is what I call green mango. Green mango. Thank you. Now this is a very, very versatile wine, and literally 70% of the total production of Sandalford Estate is sold to the top seafood restaurants in Sydney. Okay. Once again, 94 points, and last week this was voted as the best Verdejo produced in Australia. So we're very proud of that. Right guys, we are now coming to once again the protege. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot blend. This is 83% Cab and obviously the balanced Merlot. There's a little story about Cabernets though, which you need to understand from the Margaret River. The Margaret River once again is the Napa of Australia. And what happens is you do get, it's a Mediterranean climate, like Napa, like Stellenbosch in South Africa, but it is not as hilly as you're going to find in Stellenbosch, Napa, and other great areas. So what they do as wind breaks to stop the winds coming in the afternoon, they plant eucalyptus trees. So the Cabernet gets a little menthol infusion, particularly in the Cabernet. I pick it up. So it's almost a little bit like a very exotic cocktail. So you'll get in here, you're going to get all the fruit, the cherries. You're going to get a little infusion of menthol on the mid-palate. The Merlot is going to soften out. The talons are drinking very smoothly and a nice long finish. And you're going to get lots of cherry and blackberry fruit on this one. So I think you're going to love this wine. I certainly like it for the price as well. It's a 2005. It's got about 12 months in the barrel. I think this is an exceptional wine. This is 100% Cabernet. This is the 2005, and this is 16-month French oak, using both first and second fill barrels. And everyone knows the difference between first and second fill, obviously. And by using the second fill, you're going to keep more of the fruit forward when you blend them back in before bottling. Once again, you're going to get a very good example of that menthol infusion through the mid-length. And this is just put out that big ribeye, cowboy, blackened ribeye, and has all the traditional characteristics of a great cab. With Sandalford, their Cabernets, in great years, they also will actually make what they call their special release. It's not every year. It's called the Prendeville, after the Prendeville family that own the estate, and they will only release 500 cases of 6 from old vine cabs. And I mean, they're quite spectacular, the wines that they will use first fill all the way out to 24 months, but it's old vine, concentrated berries to keep up with the first fill barrels. When we talk about Australian Shiraz, normally I think those big fruity, explosions, right, that Parker loves, that are rated 125 because they're 17% alcohol and you can't have more than one sip. I'm proud to introduce you Sensibility from the west coast of Australia, right? Much more in line with the thinking that's happening in Napa at the moment, where alcohol percentages should go down below 3 figures, right? Down to the 14% mark. And this is a great Shiraz, and I find this is a big Shiraz, but it's big because of its natural fruits. It has chocolate, it has spices, and I did a pairing the other day with Indian food with this, and once again I paired it with a chicken tikka masala, right? Now if you've ever had a chicken tikka masala, and you're going to know how rich that sauce is, spectacular. This is going to go with big, rich sauces. Nice, not overly spicy, it's nicely balanced and integrated.